And to sit here and let France mock the country, mock your religion, make fun of every single thing you feel holy. This is the Last Supper. This is everything holy about Christianity. And we say absolutely nothing about it and say, oh, you cannot even complain. What are we doing wrong by saying that this is disgusting? This is not art.
Listen, we need to talk about transgenderism in sports from an Islamic point of view, especially after the last Olympics, which was a colossal failure, and dare I say intentional. They don't care if this iteration of the Olympics failed. The important thing for them is to plant the idea, this scene, in the minds of the world, to tell them this is happening. I wish I could show you full scenes from the opening ceremony. I'm sure many of you have checked it out, but it contained transgender characters appearing in what seemed like the Last Supper portrayal, the Leonardo da Vinci mural, and as I said before, as a Muslim, I like to see Christianity criticized from a theological point of view, but I do hate it when I see atheists and people who believe in nothing but hedonism and carnal pleasure mock the last bastion of spirituality in the entire west side of the planet. Anyway, there are a few points that I want to touch on real quick. One, how Islam is conducive to the good side of human nature that we all share. We saw that everyone who hasn't yet been corrupted to the core, railing against this satanic display. That's what we mean when we say that Islam is the religion of the human nature, or the Arabic word fitra. If you never heard of Islam, you would still find yourself by your very nature averse to the things that Islam deems immoral and gravitating towards the things that Islam encourages. That's just how God created you. Number two, how many people in the world now agree that human nature exists in a dichotomy, male and female? Almost everyone, right? But since the West is leading the progressive side of things, we see this being debated on the biggest platforms. It's being pushed by gigantic organizations like the Olympic Committee or the UN, or one noted American politician that introduces herself as she, her.
I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her.
But we are not political here. But you'll find it in the Quran that Allah said, talking about the mother of Mary, the mother of Jesus, it reads, but when she delivered her, she said, my Lord, I have delivered a female, and Allah was most knowing of what she delivered, and the male is not like the female, and I had named her Mary. Pretty clear cut, the male is not like the female. These things are very basic in Islam, the same way they are basic in the minds and nature of everyone who hadn't attended drag queen story hour in their middle school, or people who went to university in Canada or something, or anyone who existed in Sweden for more than a day and caught the woke virus from the air. Other than that, normal people would never debate these things. And that leads us to number three. What will surprise you is that the insanity that we are witnessing nowadays was mentioned in the Quran long ago, 14 centuries ago, since the time of the revelation of the Quran. Don't believe me? Check this out. In the Quran we read what Satan said to God when he was expelled from heaven. He said the following, talking about the progeny of Adam, and I will mislead them, and I will arouse in them sinful desires, and I will command them so they will slit the ears of cattle, and I will command them, this is the important point, and I'll command them so they will change the creation of Allah. It's the command of Satan for human beings to change how Allah created them, quite literally. And here's the thing, to change how God created you is not only to become transgendered. For example, it's been the holy grail of progressivism to remove the idea that the man is the head of the household and women are nurturers and homemakers, because this is one of the aspects of God's nature, the nature that God instilled in us. And it is what the Quran teaches, because that will bring you more happiness in the bigger sense of the word. Peace, calm, serenity. But the Satanists hate this. They want you to be troubled like them because they live in misery and want to drag you down with them. That's the entire point of Satan. He knows that he's going to hell, so they're going against everything holy and sacred. And although Jesus is not holy, quote unquote, by the Christian sense, he's not divine, but he is a prophet in Islam. That's why when Andrew Tate protested the insult of Jesus Christ in the streets of Romania, he was actually doing an Islamic thing.
Guys, I believe most of you are Christians. I'm a Muslim, yes? This is Romania, it's supposed to be the most Christian country in Europe. You cannot allow them to desecrate something as important as the Last Supper with transsexuals and little children, pedophilia. There has to be a point you stand up for your beliefs. If you have something in life and you don't stand up for it, it will not last.
I saw this meme on Twitter the other day. Check this out. When you insult Jesus in a Christian country, you get all kinds of recognitions and awards. That's Richard Dawkins, obviously, the guy who spent his entire life doing nothing but insulting Christianity, making fun of Christians, making a joke of everything they believe in. He will die a millionaire, respected, even revered in society among everyone, including some people who purport to be Christian. They just think that insulting what they consider God is part of free speech. On the other side, on the contrary, when you insult Jesus, not Prophet Muhammad, in a Muslim country, you go to jail, or at least get severe punishment, usually from the government. Like, it's against the law to make fun of prophets or insult prophets, anything like that. But even in Muslim majority countries, if somehow you were successful in circumventing the law, you had good lawyers, you maybe had some international organizations interfere, so you didn't go to jail, the public would never forgive you. You better leave the country, champ. And we as Muslims are proud of that. No, your freedom of speech doesn't include insulting Jesus or Muhammad or any other prophet. You can say that you should put pineapple on pizza. You can say that Ronaldo is better than Messi. Do whatever you want, but there are red lines. The West has his red lines. You can't say that there are only two genders. That's a red line, is it not? You can't say that homosexuality is bad or sinful. Every society has his red lines. Some red lines contribute to the fall of a society. When you can't say the truth, your society, your civilization will eventually and unavoidably collapse. There is no way around it. This is just a fact of life, and the only solution for the West's problem is Islam. There's no other solution. They have tried everything already, and they ended up having government-assisted suicide, euthanasia, in some countries in Europe. This is a fact. Look it up. Humans are the same everywhere and have been throughout history. And the message of Allah is the only tonic that will fix all these diseases. This is it for today. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.